Alright, tonight's video is a catch up and what's been going on in the planet for us. Hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Well, I thought it was about time I made a video. It's been a while. A whole heck of a lot's been going on in that amount of time since I put the last one up. Let me think. Where to start? We have finished our movement of the basketball courts. We got all those in. We had the tournament, big success, and we got them all back out, and we did very well, I have to say. It was a good outcome for us. A large carrier that was supposed to be doing 4 flatbed loads, we were supposed to be doing 12 with our little tiny fleet of trucks. We got all of ours done before they showed up, and they showed up with one truck short. The other truck smashed one of the backboards. One of the trucks showed up a day late, and the other one showed up 2 days late. And just poor attitude. It's astonishing to me, these movements that we're doing. Without sounding arrogant, I've done coach movements of large amounts of people, and when you're dealing with human beings, you can't leave them standing in the dock for a couple of days. You can't just show up when it feels like it. You can't. Your drivers have to have a sharper attitude. And I think what I bring to the table with this thing is that I have my guys, my mentality around the coaches kind of rubs off on them a bit, and they're efficient, hard-working, decent men that do a good job. And because we did that, good job, that's us. We've got that for 5 years now, and it's going to work out super good for us. We had, after we dropped the first load off, and the way back up, I was running through Nevada to pick up young Houston, and it's not been plain sailing for us. I did pick up him at the car rental place where he rented a car and drove out from Chicago, and I picked him up. And when I picked him up, about 10:30 in the morning, I drove up to the Loves north of Vegas, and I thought I'll pull in here, get some fuel, fill up a juice cup and crack on up the road. And we had issues with that truck with the suspension on it. I don't know if you remember that in one of the previous videos, but the suspension went down as I was driving up the road between Vegas and St. George, and so every time I took my foot off, well, when I was driving, if I get to about 80 and the turbo boost isn't pushing, the transmission is not locked in, you know, it's kind of idling, free play, horrendous noise. I thought, oh, here goes the transmission's going this. That was the green one. So young Houston had him in the truck for 30 minutes in the truck that he's going to be driving, sat down on us. So I got it into, then I realised, I thought, I wonder if the suspension's down, and that's what's causing the driveline to have that pressure on it, you know. So it was, suspension was down. I nursed it into Peterbilt in St. George. It had a leak at the oil seal in the back, in the rear, and the suspension was down. West was heading to the oil field with the blue Kenworth, so I just had him come from Utah further to southern Utah, pick up the load, take it up and drop it off. That took care of the load. And I think the truck was in Peterbilt waiting for parts and authorization from the warranty company, which ended up not getting. This freaking warranty company's wriggling anything they can, but I ended up, the bill was 10 grand. So to replace, because it had been run with the airbags being down, I had to replace 3 of the airbags, so we just did all of them. we had to replace the compressor because that was the cause of the problem. It was passing oil. There was no oil in our tanks. It was just the heat and stuff. Must have been building carbon up in the leveling valves and the airbags and the air dryer, and so we got a new compressor. And the oil leak at the rear end, they end up putting a whole new freaking rear end in that because it's more cost effective, believe it or not, to just put a new rear end in rather than mess about with the shaft, race, bearings and seal. So that's what they did. $10,000. The lease company paid 22, I had to pay 78. So we get that one back out the shop in time to go and do these return loads. We headed down there. I went down there on the Sunday to scope out the place we were delivering it to into the World Market Centre there in Vegas, and just to make sure, took pictures of the entrance and what the junctions were like before it so as I could give them to the drivers. Try to be a wee bit efficient there, make sure it went smoother. And I met my son, his family, that night. I had breakfast with them on Father's Day. That was quite fun, and heard from all the kids, and yeah, decent day. And me and Tommy drove down to Phoenix to the job site that we're picking up at. We had trucks converging from all over that weekend, from bringing stuff into Phoenix. So that we were there for Monday morning. We get 4 out, and they were short of a forklift driver. You know, Tommy's certified as a forklift driver when he ran the warehouse up here in Idaho Falls, and he jumped onto that for 4 days, I think we're doing, 3 days. 3 days in Vegas. So I coordinated all the loading and the loads and making sure that the forklift drivers were doing what they were supposed to be doing and no wrecking our trailers, and pushing, getting all the loads staged so as that one of my trucks would come in down the ramp, and the drivers knew they would just pull forward. I would open up the doors, they would back in, we would get the stuff, 15 pallets thrown on. But because this other company, they were only doing the flatbed work because I didn't have any. That'll not happen next time. So we've got the responsibility. It's more of a logistics job rather than just line haul. So the job's ours. We just get told that this is when the job is. In the future, you know, there's quite a few of these throughout the country. So we just get told this is when it is. This is where the loads are at. This is when it needs to be there. Just have it there. And I think my bus training, or coach training if you like, where you kind of leave people sitting, you know, well, you might be late 10 minutes or whatever, but if something goes wrong, you have to cover it. If something goes wrong with the trucks, they just don't bother. They just don't show up. So I'll be there tomorrow. Well, we kind of do that. If you've got people with tickets for football games or theatre shows, you've just got to do whatever you can to get them there. So that was that. The man from New York, he got back and jumped into the purple truck in the oil field and picked up a trailer and loaded it up to Phoenix. And after that, we sent him up to Vegas with the load, and it started losing water and had what looked like black oily water coming out the side of the block, and I thought, oh, here we go. But luckily we got it into the same Peterbilt dealer. The Peterbilt dealer in Vegas wanted to wait for 2 weeks before they could even look at it. Then they've got to wait for parts. Then it's ridiculous. Everybody needs to get back to freaking work. That's what needs to happen. There's too many folk off work, too many parts that are not getting delivered. So too many factories aren't making parts because they haven't got enough staff. But anyway, the purple truck, it crapped its pants just almost at Vegas. So I sent Brett up, picked up the load, delivered it, and then we put the purple one into Peterbilt and St. George. And credit to those guys, they're bang on straight away, diagnosed right away, parts pulled off it, waiting for new parts to come in. But alas, UPS never arrived with the parts on Friday, so the truck's off the road all weekend. So that's a man in a hotel this weekend again. But it's the EGR valve and the EGR cooler that are going on it, so that's what the issue is there. So that one should be back on the road Monday. We've got Wes's dad heading out to the oil field to do some more driving out there to get some more practice. He's a nice man, be glad to have him out driving for us. And there's a few people been after us for jobs, just not had the trucks. I've managed to locate some more trailers if we're going to do some more, but I need to act quickly on them because they're gone. There was 12 come into a dealership because a local guy up here can't find drivers for his trucks. And we've got the opposite, we just can't find trucks for the drivers. So this week that job got done. All the guys went straight onto good paying loads right after it from Vegas and Phoenix. Houston got a load up to Boise. Once the truck was up and running, he did a couple of those floor loads up to Vegas, and then he went up to Boise with a load. Now he's heading down to South Carolina, 40 miles from his house. And we've got something for him bouncing back up. Who else do we have? Well, Wes's truck's doing great. It's on, it's working. His driver's doing great. No problems there whatsoever. There are a couple issues with Brett's trailer this morning, but just that everything's going fine. But I don't mind telling you, working down there in Phoenix, it was average 117 per day degrees, which is 47 to 48, I think it is, Celsius or centigrade. Just too freaking hot, you know, and I'm no 19 by any means, and I have to tell you, working down there in that heat, I stopped doing it a few days ago, and when I got up, you know, I was driving kind of slow to get out of the oil field. I couldn't drive as far at a time, but manual labour, lifting panels and shot clocks and backboards and loading trailers and, you know, moving equipment about on trailers. Those backboards they weigh about 3,000 pounds each, and you try to shovel them about and get them into a position in a flatbed. The drivers that were there, they didn't bother backside from the other company, so I was I've inherited or fallen into a bit of a logistics job. It's good. It's more lucrative than the straight line hauls. A little bit more headache, but you get paid for the headache. So, but in that amount of heat, holy freaking smoke! I don't mind telling you, my backside was dragging, really dragging. Drinking water as hard as you can, and then maybe peeing once a day. You know, just tough going for an older guy. And the guys I was working with, I soon realised, wait a minute, well, these guys are in their 40s, and there's one guy that we're working with. It's a pleasure working for him as well. It's just a good company, just decent folk. So they paid us good on it, paid us extra for what we did, and aye, I've got to say that worked out well. So Justin's just got back into town Saturday night, and I was going to jump into his truck. I still might do that and run a short load this week, but I'd kind of like to be heading out the country this weekend coming, or be even out of it. So we'll see. It's been a long time since I've been back home, and you know, just getting everything up to speed. Guys are working great. I've been offered another truck, been offered some trailers, but it's these kind of things. If you don't go fast, you're not going at all, because somebody else will jump in. These 12 trailers that came available on Wednesday, I think it was, or something like that. Maybe Wednesday. 6 of them are gone already. So, but we'll see how things go. I've got a few. I mean, the yellow truck's back here. I'd like to get a bumper on it again, and it needs an oil change and a couple of little fiddly things, nothing major. Need a little repair in the trailer. I'm going to service all those and get the oil changed on them and the belts changed again. I like to change the belts. I'm a reefer belt freak. I think for the price of a belt, you just got to be careful that you don't forget about them, and you know, your truck runs out of oil. It's just a little engine that's in front of those refrigerated units if you've never trucked before or hauled a reefer. But I need to get some flatbeds, for this job that we're doing and gear up for it, because it's a good opportunity and decent folk, and you know, honest, straight to the point, happy with what they get, delighted with the service we gave them, and I'd rather do that than mess about with some of these people that try to hoodwink you into loads and, you know, screw the rate doing on them. So, but no, the drivers like doing them as well, because it's, you know, you're pulling into a big stadium, you're part of an event, and you know, it's a lot more interesting than just hauling a load of onions somewhere that you just, you know, back in, take them off, going. So, but that is what is going on. Yeah, just need to get myself sorted out, get a few things in order. I'd like to spend 4 or 5 days this week getting trucks organised. I need to start using my yellow notepad again. I've slipped on that, but I'd like to get my ducks in a row so that I can get to the old planet, take care of things over there. So hope you like the video. Sorry it's been so long since I put one on, but yeah, I've been flat out. I mean, flat out. Just exhaustion flat out, don't mind telling you. But hey, it's a bit cooler tonight. It's only about 70 degrees, 75 where I'm at. So we'll get to sleep and get up tomorrow and take care of some things and do some admin things and make some plans, some cash flow projections and all that kind of stuff. So it's getting to that stage where I'm going to have to be a bit smarter at what I do, rather than just having 2 or 3 trucks running and I'm driving one of them. So anywho, thanks for watching. I'll try and won't make the next one as long. See you later.